The first time I saw her profile, it felt like a spark lit somewhere deep inside me. It was an ordinary evening, my phone glowing in the dim light of my apartment as I scrolled aimlessly through the digital noise. Then her picture appeared. Her smile was warm but not forced. Her eyes seemed to look right through the screen and find me. I hesitated for a moment before sending that first message, half expecting no reply at all. But she responded quickly, almost as if she had been waiting for me to find her. Her name was Claire. At least, that's what she said. She lived in a nearby city, worked in marketing, and loved late-night walks and books that made her cry. Over time, her life became a part of mine. We messaged every morning before work and every night before bed. She would tell me about her day, the coworkers who annoyed her, the client that finally approved her proposal, the pasta she made from scratch. I told her everything in return. Somewhere along the way, it stopped feeling like I was just talking to a person on the other side of a screen. I was talking to someone who understood me, someone who cared. When weeks turned into months, I suggested we meet. She always had a reason why she couldn't. There was a big project deadline. She was visiting her parents. She wasn't feeling well. I was disappointed, of course, but not enough to walk away. The connection we had felt too real to give up on over scheduling conflicts. Besides, she sent me pictures. They weren't the kind of overly polished selfies most people posted. They were casual. Her curled up with a book, her coffee mug on a rainy day, her sneakers on a sidewalk. They were convincing enough to keep my doubts quiet. The years passed like that, strangely enough. Our lives became woven together in a way that felt both comforting and incomplete. I celebrated her birthday every year by ordering her favorite flowers and having them delivered to her address, though she always asked me to just put my name on the card instead of visiting. She cheered me on when I got promoted, sending voice notes that made my heart race. When I had bad days, she stayed up with me, texting me until I fell asleep. She became my secret anchor, the person I told everything to, even things I couldn't tell my real-life friends. It wasn't until my father died that the cracks began to show. I told her about it immediately, desperate for her comfort, but her responses felt strangely delayed, almost mechanical. She said all the right things, but something about them felt rehearsed. That was when the unease began to creep in, whispering at the edges of my mind. One night, unable to sleep, I took one of the photos she'd sent me and ran a reverse image search. The results came back in seconds, and everything I thought I knew collapsed. The woman in the photos had a different name entirely, and she was a popular lifestyle blogger living halfway across the country. She had a husband, a child, and no connection to me whatsoever. My hands were shaking as I dug deeper. More searches, more results. Every picture, every single one, was taken from her public posts. The Claire I had been talking to all these years didn't exist. I confronted her, or whoever was behind the screen. At first, she denied it, saying the internet was full of mistakes. When I pushed harder, her tone shifted. She admitted she wasn't the woman in the photos, but insisted that everything else she had told me was true. She said she had really laughed at my jokes, really cried when I was hurting, really loved me in her own way. She begged me not to hate her. I didn't know how to respond. For days I felt like a ghost moving through my own life, replaying every conversation, every late-night confession. None of it had been real, and yet it had been the most real thing I'd had for years. My friends couldn't understand why I was so devastated. They told me to just block her and move on, but how do you block out years of shared moments, even if they were built on lies? Eventually, I did block her. I deleted the messages, the pictures, the playlists we had made together. But the emptiness she left behind was worse than the betrayal. It was like losing someone twice, once when I found out who she really was, and again when I cut her out of my life. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about her. Not the fake photos, not the names she gave me, but the person I got to know in the quiet spaces of my life. The one who stayed up with me when I was lonely, who made me laugh when I thought I'd forgotten how. I don't know who she really was, or what she really wanted from me, but I know this much: she was real enough to leave a scar. The weeks after blocking her were worse than I could have imagined. At first, I told myself it was relief I was feeling, relief that the truth was out, that I was no longer living in a fantasy someone else had spun around me. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was that I missed her. I caught myself unlocking my phone at random moments, scrolling to where our chat used to be, only to see an empty screen. I missed her good morning messages. I missed the way she always knew what to say to make me feel seen. Even though I hated what she'd done, some part of me kept wondering if maybe I had been too harsh. Maybe she was telling the truth when she said the feelings were real. And then the messages started again. Not from her, at least not directly. They came from a different account, a new username, but the words felt the same. I could hear her voice in them, the rhythm of how she typed. The first message was just a simple "I'm sorry." Then, a day later, "I can't stop thinking about you." I didn't respond. I told myself I wouldn't. But then came the messages that referenced things only she and I had shared, inside jokes, moments that no stranger could know. It was as if she was trying to stitch her way back into my life, thread by thread. Curiosity became temptation, and temptation became compulsion. I made a fake account of my own, just to see what she would say if she didn't know it was me. She talked to me like I was someone new, and yet, somehow, the things she said felt like they were still meant for me. She told me she'd lost someone recently, that she was lonely, that she wished she had a person to talk to like she used to. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I couldn't. How could I explain that I was secretly talking to the same person who had lied to me for years? It felt like being trapped in a hall of mirrors, every reflection distorted, every truth half-hidden. One night, I asked her why she had chosen me all those years ago. There was a long pause before she answered. "Because you were kind," she said. "Because you listened. Because you made me feel like I could be someone better than I really was." It should have made me angry, but instead it made something twist inside me. Pity, longing, maybe even love. She had taken so much from me, but she had given me something too, a version of myself I had never known existed. Someone patient, someone caring, someone who could hold another person's entire world together with nothing but words. But the truth was still there, like a shadow I couldn't ignore. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know her name, her face, her life. I was in love with a ghost, and that ghost had been created for me, piece by piece, lie by lie. The last time we spoke, I asked her to tell me something real, just one thing. Something I could hold on to. She didn't reply for a long time, and I thought she had finally disappeared for good. Then, hours later, one message appeared. "My name is Lily," it said. I don't know if that was true. I don't think I ever will. But some nights, I still open that fake account just to see if she's written again. Most nights, there's nothing waiting for me. Some part of me hopes it stays that way. Another part of me hopes it doesn't. Because as much as I hate to admit it, I think a part of me will always be waiting for her to come back.